Sing towards the Koisel. Many of them, arm in arm, singing, Anachnu maminim b'nei maminim. We are believers. Elo, Elo, Elovinu, Shamash. I believe in Hashem. Now, these are not religious people, but they have a religious neshama. They have religious souls. And we have the most amazing opportunity to bring Klal Yisrael together. When an 18-year-old is on the front lines and their life is on the line, they'll turn their eyes up to Hashem. Unfortunately, we don't always, not all segments of Klal Yisrael is machshav, the sacrifice that people from our own nation present when they stand and give up their lives. And it causes animosity, and it causes sinna, and it causes hatred. And instead of being a moment in time where we can say, Klal Yisrael, let's all band together, let's defend against a Gashmiistic and a Ruchniistic, Yetzirah, a Saina. Instead, unfortunately, within segments of Klal Yisrael, if you wear the Israeli army begadim, they somehow look down on you. And I want to say, and I'm saying it because I know, besides you being here watching, I know another 10,000 people are going to watch this on Torah anytime. So I tell you this, we owe a tremendous debt of gratitude. And we've got to show tremendous ahava towards every Yid. And especially those who are moiser nefesh. If a Yid dies, chalila, for defending Eretz Yisrael, then they've died al Kiddush Hashem and they go straight to Gan Eden. End of story. And anyone, whether religious or not, who stands, who says, I need to defend Klal Yisrael, those people are unique, and they need our tefillos, and they need our brachas, and they need our love, and they need us to understand that we appreciate them. And unfortunately, we don't always speak out because there are segments that speak out against them, and he gives man to say, to choose a side. You got to choose a side, and I choose Klal Yisrael. The Ramchal says that whoever shows love to the Jewish people, Hashem will show them love. And if we could show a secular person at UCLA or Brooklyn College, if we could show them love, how can we not show love to somebody who wears a Magen David, who stands at the front lines and puts their life out on the line? I think we have to do something about it because everyone is a star, especially people who sacrifice their lives and put their lives in danger. To sum up, Yom Kippur is a few days away. We're going to be standing there and the davening is long and the machzor is very thick, even though when you look at it, you get, 700 pages, and then you realize half are a translation, so it's, I can handle 350. But it's a long davening, and you're hungry, and it's difficult. But it's just Hashem saying, I want to know that you want to be in this relationship, and relationship demands sacrifice. And therefore, miut chelvi, miut dami, a little bit of my blood, a little bit of my fat, I'm going to give a little bit, not because it's our job to punish ourselves, but because we want to say, I'd rather be here in shul speaking to Hashem than eating sushi. I'd rather be here listening to Kriyas HaTorah, listening to Mafter Yoina, than I would sleeping or eating a steak. I don't need the comfort, I don't need to shave now, I just need to be here with you. Shivti b'veis Hashem kol yemei chaya. So one day a year, we block everything out. We block out food. One day a year, we block out comforts, and we don't go and take baths until we get out, until we shower, until we shave, until we eat breakfast, until I go to davening. Instead, I just go. Hashem, you have my undivided attention. And Hashem said, that's all I ever wanted. I want you to want me. My daughter got up yesterday. Tzipi is her name. And she gave a l'chaim. And she got up and she said, I give a l'chaim to everyone. She's 17 years old. She says, I give a l'chaim that everyone here should love Yom Kippur. That's her l'chaim. You should love Yom Kippur. Love the opportunity to spend time with Hashem. The rest of the year we're distracted. Even Shabbos we're distracted. Little kiddush club here, little herring over there. Can't wait, come in, come out, take a l'chaim. One day I have total focus on you, Hashem. The other days of the year I'm divided, Chatzil Hashem, Chatzil Hashem. But one day just you. And if I do it right, I can be sure that Hashem will forgive me. That's why, right after Yom Kippur, we go and we have a big fat meal. Why aren't you nervous? Why aren't you nervous? You don't know what Hashem said. You don't know what the verdict was. You just finished Yom Kippur. How can you sit and eat? No, I do know. You know what the verdict is? Hashem loves me. That's the verdict. The verdict is that Hashem, of course, was mechaper. And even if I didn't daven as hard as I should, even if my thoughts weren't, but Hashem knows that I'm trying. Hashem knows our will is to do Hashem's will. So He overlooks. We are the greatest work of art. Hashem is not going to let the dirt sit on us. He's going to take that hose and spritz it out, and we're going to shine in that sun. And in case we forget this idea, we've got a sukkah right afterwards. We have a Shmini Atzeres, Kosher Lai Predaskam. We have a Simchas Torah. We jump up. Moshe Emes, Pastorasa Emes. We are so excited. We don't think twice. Yom Kippur is over. That's it. I know Hashem forgave me. That's it. I finish with this story. When I was at UCLA, I used to stop people. I was a rabbi at the college for many years. And I'd stop people. I'd say, hi, are you Jewish? That was my pickup line. Very blunt. Very blunt. Hi, are you Jewish? Either they would say, no, I'm sorry. It's nothing to apologize. We can't all be special. If it's a boy, I used to mention I'm a moil and I can help out. But usually they're not Jewish. But if they are Jewish, are you Jewish? Then I would try to engage them. Sometimes they would stop and engage me. Sometimes they wouldn't answer. They'd walk right along. Every person was different. Sometimes they would say, yes, but I'm not interested. That always made me the most sad. Yes, but I'm not interested. Once, there was a young lady, she's walking by. I said, are you Jewish? She said, yeah, not interested. Now, I'm a little bit of a nudge. I could be. Ask my wife. I could be a little bit of a nudge. I could hang on. And I decided to hang on. So she's walking away. Yeah, but I'm not interested. She walks. I just follow her. She didn't call the cops, which is good. I follow her. I say, okay, but what's your name? So she sees that I'm not leaving. She says, Nurit. Nice Israeli name. I said, Nurit, so nice to meet you. I'm Rabbi Klatzko. I said, here, let me give you my card. You're not interested now, but maybe one day you will be. Here's my card. So I give it to her, and she figures if she doesn't take the card, she's not getting rid of me. So she takes it. I figure she's going to crunch it up and throw it away. Okay, I did what I could do. I went back to my table. But every day that Nurit passed, from then on, I'd say, oh, Boker Tov Nurit. Erev Tov Nurit. Ma nishma Nurit. I'd say, oh, no. Why did I tell the rabbi my name? Well, that was a big mistake. She started walking the long way to avoid me. You guys know what that's like. Let's go the long way so I don't have to bump into the rabbi. The next semester, I get an email from Nurit. And she says, hi, Rabbi Klatzko. I don't know if you remember me, this Nurit. She said, I just wanted to let you know I'm converting to Christianity. So I figured if she writes me such an email, she must want to respond. She wouldn't just tell it to me to like twist the dagger, right? I said, okay, you're converting. I think we should speak for a few minutes on campus. She writes back, I don't really have time. I said, 5 minutes on campus, right there at my table. She agrees. The next day she comes to the table, and I just lay it on thick for 5 minutes. I think, well, I would think twice before converting, because number one, he wasn't the Son of God. Number two, he wasn't Ben Yishai, wasn't. Number three, the whole story's made up. Number four, he never existed, and on and on and on. And by the 5 minutes were over, she's like, oh, whoa, I didn't know a lot of this. I said, okay, now we've got to meet for real. She said, I have midterms. I said, come, even midterms is too important. I said, come, I'll serve you the best coffee, come. She writes me an email, you know what? If it's white hot chocolate, I'll come. I said, I will find you, whatever that means. I'll find you white hot chocolate. Come. I found her some nice packet of Belgian white hot chocolate. She came over for about 3 hours. We went through all the reasons that Christianity is nonsense. She then went to her missionary friend, told him everything that I said, the one who was converting her, and he spent 4 hours with her, convincing her that what I told her was baloney. She comes back to me, she says, well, I have an answer to everything you say. I said, tell me the answer, I'll tell you the answer to that. So she came back to me, and I spent hours, then she went back to him, and I felt like I was in a tug-of-war for Nurit's neshama. I felt the rope. Sometimes it felt like it was slipping. Sometimes I felt like we were winning. After a month, she writes me an email. She says, Rabbi Klatzko, I realize at this point, when it comes to Christianity, to quote Shakespeare, something stinks in Denmark. In other words, something is not kosher, basically. I see in Christianity, there are too many issues. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be Jewish. It just means Christianity have issues. I said, okay, we're making progress. Now come to me for Shabbat. Come Friday night. A few weeks later, she came. And I made Kiddush. She's sitting with a bunch of college students. And after Kiddush, we go to wash our hands. So everyone gets up, l'chotz yadayim. But she is sitting down. So someone says, Nurit, now is when we do this, wash our hands. She says, I don't do what I don't understand. I said, she's going to become frum. She's a thinker. So, Nurit, she began coming to our house very frequently. I have a little son. He's not so little. He's married now. His name was Alicia. She fell deeply in love with our 3-year-old Alicia. She said, I used to cry when I see him. She saw a Jewish little boy, what it means, the Ziskite. That's what happened with Nurit. But I want to take a moment and tell you about another young man. There was a young man by the name of David. And I invited David over. He was a quiet young man. He used to come to our home for supper, learning, growing, didn't know much. And he had what's called a Jewfro. It's an afro on a Jew. They call it a Jewfro. Big, bushy hair. He used to follow a band called Fish. And the Fish followers, they wear this big hair. But he used to come. I used to learn with him. And one day I said, you should come to Israel with me. You should come. We're going to do a trip. He said, okay, I'd love to come. So in those days, I wasn't the one doing the interview. But instead, there was a couple who did the interview. So I brought David to the couple, and I had him interviewed. They did not accept him. I said, what do you mean? This boy's such an amazing young man. They said, look at him. Look at this. Look at him. He doesn't look the part. There's got to be something wrong with him. I wasn't happy. What do you mean? He said, good boy, I know David so well. A few days later, I invited David over. He had a Jewfro and a beard, by the way. So he did look a little bit overgrown, like a bush. But I invite him over for dinner a few days later. He comes, he joins us for dinner. And then I said to David, I'm going to tell you something you don't know about your rabbi. Did you know besides being a rabbi, I'm also a barber. I said, and I can give you a little trim. It can look really nice. Would you allow me? He says, sure, little trim. I bring him to my bathroom. I take out my clippers. I trim a little off the top. Then I said, look, I trimmed over here. Now the beard looks too big. Can I do something with it? And he goes, whatever you think, Rabbi. I trimmed over here. Then I said, you know what? It's looking too big here. So I trimmed a little bit there. Here. By the time we finished, he looked like a Miri Shiva Bacher. I had cut his beard completely off, so it was clean shaven. He had a regular, nice, normal haircut. And he did not know what I was doing. Then he looks in the mirror when I finished. He goes, oh. I said, you look great. I got one more idea. He goes, what's your other idea? I said, I want to go back to this couple. I think we should go back just to interview. But don't tell them that you were there before. Don't tell them you were there a few days. We're just going to go to an interview. So I brought David again. They did not realize it's the same guy. They interview him, and after a few minutes, one of the couple came out of the room. So Rabbi Klatzko, can I speak with you? Where did you find such a great guy? This guy is amazing. Such character. He's so eloquent. I speak to the hand. You know, you gave up on this guy a few days ago because you didn't have a haircut. That's a neshama you're talking about. That's a neshama. He did come with us to Eretz Yisrael. He spent a few weeks in yeshiva, and then he made up his mind. He's going to go back to yeshiva after he finishes college. But he would listen to shiurim in the lab. He was growing, and I began to use him because he was so good with other people. And now he was this handsome guy. He was just perfect. If I needed somebody to speak to people about Yiddishkeit, a friend of theirs, a student, he was very eloquent. One day, he was over the house, and in walks Nurit. And I said, Nurit, I said, David, there's a girl coming here. Can you speak with her about Israel and about going to learn, to grow? He goes, sure. He knew the routine, he knew the drill. So Nurit walks in, and I said, oh, Nurit, thank you so much for coming. It's right before Pesach, and we're lining our table with silver foil. Can you, this is David, Nurit, can you do it together? I'm going to be in the other room. And I left the room, allowing him to do his magic. I ran an Israel trip a few years later, and one of my students got bitten by a spider. We brought him to Hadassah Hospital, and they treated his spider bite. And then when they released him, I was together with him leading the trip, so I was at Hadassah Hospital. As they released him, we go to the parking lot, and there we see David and Nurit pushing their first baby together. They have a bunch of beautiful Jewish kinderlach. They visit us each Purim. You can't give up on a single life. And especially if that life is your life. It's usher. Now I'm going to tell you one more thing. I was speaking to a great Rav about Ikvasa the Mashiach, the time of Mashiach. What's stopping it? And he said, in our generation, what stops Mashiach is Islam. I said, what do you mean, really, Islam? He said, yes. He said, I'll explain to you why. He said, even though the last Golus is Golus Edom, and Edom we know were Rome, and they alienated, and they destroyed Beis Hamikdash, and they sent Klal Yisrael into Golus. But at the end of days, by Mashiach's time, what stops Mashiach from coming? It's not Edom, but it's Yishmael. Why? Because we have a Malach that stands up for us. We have Hashem and we have Malach Michael that stands up, that says, look how amazing Klal Yisrael is. But along comes the Malach of Yishmael, and the Malach of Yishmael says, they're not so amazing, because Yishmael is just as amazing. And they take away our ammunition. Let me explain to you. The Malach of Klal Yisrael says, Klal Yisrael is so awesome. They are the true Yorshim of Avraham Avinu. They are the Zera Avram. You know why they're so special? Because they daven 3 times a day. What nation davens 3 times a day? Comes Malach Yishmael and says, By us, they daven 5 times a day. Yeah, they're davening. They're not davening to the right place, but the act of davening becomes less impressive if others are willing to be moiser nefesh. Okay? But we say, yeah, but we have bris milah. Comes along Yishmael, but we have it and we do it when they're older. It's more painful. But we eat meat that is shechted. Halal. Yes, but we fast on Yom Kippur. Ramadan. But our women are theistic. Our women are modest. Says Yishmael. Let's talk to you about whatever we have. The Malach of Yishmael says they're not so great. So what are we going to do? It's a scary thing. All of this ammunition. And you know what we're left with? We're left with the ace in the card deck to prove that we are the true Yarshim of Zera Avram. And that is Hachnosas Orchim. You see, Avram Avinu was known as the great Machnas Oirech. He used to open up 4 passageways in his tent. Mizrach, Tzafon, Ma'ariv, Durham, wherever you went, north, south, east, and west, so you can come in. So we say we have Hachnosas Orchim like no one else does. But Yishmael and the Bedouins, they say, no, we know how to do Hachnosas Orchim. Come to a Bedouin tent, you'll see what we serve you. Now, I've been to a Bedouin tent multiple times. It is not Jewish Hachnosas Orchim. We do it better. There's no question about it. You know, the Bedouins, they have a custom. They serve you a cup of coffee that's very strong and bitter. And you drink that little cup. If you drink 1 cup, it means that you're their honored guest. If they serve you without you asking a 2nd cup, it means that you are their family. If they serve you a 3rd cup of this very strong and bitter coffee, it means they want you to leave. It's true. And you got to drink it or get out of here. I said, we don't have that. But we do have Hachnosas Orchim. So I want to tell you what happened 2 years ago when I spoke for this crowd. When I spoke for this Chashuv Kehillah. I started a project called Shabbat.com that my nephew mentioned. I had a dream. My dream was to connect every single Jew in the world, period, end of story. And with social networking that is used to share pictures and videos, using that similar technology, we could share mitzvahs and make shidduchim and find people jobs and get people invited for Shabbos. That was a dream I had. Hashem gives us technology not to ban, but to channel for good. And Baruch Hashem, over the years, it's grown to the point that I think most of you have heard of it. That means it's grown beautifully. Today, we're in 152 countries. 1 million people, 1 million, have found place for Shabbat. We make each month, between 6 and 7 shidduchim. Every month, between 6